Go Sarah with Molina, let's go.
Hello and welcome back to round 8 of the NPL New South Wales Women's Competition here tonight from North Turramurra Recreation Area as the Northern Tigers host the Illawarra Stingrays in what is set to be a huge matchup between two undefeated sides in the competition. Perfect. Hello and welcome back to round 8 of the NPL New South Wales Women's Competition. I'm Annabelle Banfield here from North Turramurra Recreation Area. Really keen to bring you a huge match-up tonight between two... between these two. And it was a very exciting, very thrilling 2-2 draw that was produced some excellent end-to-end football. So hopefully we get just as much excitement here in the first grade game. Both teams being led out by their captains, Chloe Middleton for the Illawarra Stingrays and Nicola Dominikovic for the Northern Tigers. I'll get us going with the lineups. For the home side, starting this evening, we have number 1, Anna Norton. Number 4, Isabella Keach. Number 5, Savannah Murray. Number 9, Hayley Johnson. Number 12, Saffron Grass. Number 14, Beth Bernardi. Number 16, Olivia Cartwright. Number 18, Bo Burton. Number 21, Nicola Dominikovic. Number 22, Maya Cameron. And number 44, Isla Witham. And on the bench, number 8, Jade McAtamney. Number 10, Charlotte Mortlock. Number 24, Julia Murphy. Number 28, Katia Clement. Number 29, Rosie Ewan. And number 31, Annalise Glastonbury. And for the away side, Illawarra Stingrays, they start with number 1, Sophie Emery. Number 7, Chloe Middleton. Number 8, Siobhan Edwards. Number 10, Alexia Carastal. Number 12, Annabella Keep. Number 16, Genevieve Nisbet. Number 17, Adelaide Thompson. Number 19, Layla Etherington. Number 20, Ella Giles. Number 30, Hayley Bicknell. And number 39, Poppy Hooks. And on the bench for the Stingrays, number 2, Tara Cannon. Number 13, Kayla Austin. Number 23, Kate McPherson. Number 25, Annabella Pinkard. And number 27, Helena Halios Lewis. The referees tonight, we've got in the middle, Nina Cortese, and running the sidelines, Amber Morris and Stephanie Hilton. As I said, both of these teams remain undefeated in the competition through 7 rounds. Illawarra Stingrays slightly on top. They sit in 3rd position with 4 wins and 3 draws. And the Northern Tigers, 4th position, just 2 points below with 3 wins and 4 draws. In the competition, it's really interesting. There are still 4 undefeated teams, obviously these 2, and then Manly United and the Mount Druitt Town Rangers, also yet to lose a game in 2025. They could retain that undefeated title tonight if a draw plays out here at North Taramara, but highly likely that one of these teams loses that undefeated tag here tonight. It'll be the Northern Tigers kicking us off, running from left to right across your screen in their white and green stripes, and the Illawarra Stingrays going from right to left in the pink with the blue shorts and socks. Couple of key absences for the Stingrays tonight. Caitlin Cooper, I've been told, is on holidays this week. You've also got Sophie Emery, who's starting in goals this evening to replace Kiara Roche, as the Tigers mount a challenge. Headed away. It's fallen to Bicknell. Force wide is Bicknell, and she's tackled. And it will be a Tigers throw in sort of dangerous position. As I said, Sophie Emery, her first start of the year. Kiara Roche has been the preferred option, but she fractured her hip last week in the dying moments of the game against Bulls FC Academy, as Bulls FC scored their very special equaliser. Kiara Roche ran into the goal to make a save and fell on the base metal plate that holds the goal up and has fractured her hip. Thought it was fine, was driving back home to the south coast and had to stop at Sutherland because her hip was hurting so bad, I've been reliably told. As the rain starts here at North Taramara, pretty heavily too, is the rain coming down. Players will, of course, be used to it, and with a synthetic surface, all is good. We did have some lightning in the pre-game, no thunder though, so we, as last week the game between Newcastle Jets and Apia Leichhardt was cancelled due to the Football New South Wales lightning policy. As Siobhan Edwards takes the ball now. Taking on Keach. Edwards Edwards gets the cross off. Cleared by Murray, and we'll have the first corner of the game. As I was saying, last week a game had to be abandoned. Well, it will be postponed. This is the technical term between the Newcastle Jets and RP Leichhardt. I believe there's a timing that's measured between lightning and thunder strikes in the area, and when that gets too close, player safety has to be taken into account, and of course spectators, and the game gets abandoned and moved to a later date. As Kara Stahl steps out to take the first corner of the game. Swung in, headed away. It's fallen to keep. Middleton with the first shot of the game. Saved by Norton with relative ease. With the Richet fractured hip, I've also been reliably informed that Bree Edwards, twin sister of Siobhan, will be back at the club next week and will take over the goalkeeping duties for the Stingrays. As Carastal commits the foul on grass. Murray taking the free kick. Stopped by Nisbet. Tackled by Grass. Now Bernardi's coming through. Ball's put forward with no Stingray going to reach that. Murray out wide to back inside to Keach. Looking forward for Johnson. Keep did well to get back. Johnson's been in some great form recently. Made the Bernardi back to Grass. And they're looking wide for Witham. Northern Tigers also missing one of their key signings of the off-season. Was Savette Uzenla out after she injured her calf during the warm-up before last week's game. So the rain's really starting to come down here at Taramara. Bicknell driving inside. What looked to be a clear trip is played on. Witham, ball forward for Johnson. Nisbet with the throw. Just come to Keach, who kicks it out on the attempted pass to Cameron. Both of these teams are expected to do really well this season. Illawarra Stingrays coming off a semi-finals berth in 2024, which they lost in a close match with Apia. And Northern Tigers finished the season really strongly last year and have recruited well, and no doubt both teams will strengthen in the upcoming window as A-League women's players become available to join the NPL. We've already heard that Bree Edwards will be heading back to the Stingrays. Tigers have plenty of players who shined last year and probably fancy themselves to come back here to Taramara, especially with the start that their Tigers have been having. Murray, forward to Johnson. Now Bernardi. Witham. Witham cuts inside. Read well by the Stingrays, and they'll concede the corner on that occasion. It'll be taken by Burton. Not a bad play to opt to take it. One of the smaller in stature. Towards the back post. Johnson gets up, scrapes her head. I didn't think the rain could get heavier, but it just has. And Stingrays have a big chance here. Cara Stahl is rightfully angry. She was probably off to goal had she not been held, so it was a smart foul to give. I'm surprised we didn't see a card considering the position and relative position of other players. Rain will certainly keep things interesting here tonight. It shows no signs of letting up. Just when you think it's reached its strongest, it seems to be getting even heavier. Edwards running onto the ball, has speed to burn, does Siobhan Edwards. Gets the cross off towards the back post where Etherington was waiting. Bicknell cleared by Keach. And it will head all the way back to Sophie Emery, who was the regular starter for the first half of last year until Bree Edwards joined the club. Local junior from Berry, so Illawarra have a really proud history of developing local girls from the region. Murray on the ball now, waiting for some movement out of the Tigers. Johnson, grass, wide for Burton. Couldn't retain the touch, and that'll start to happen here as this rain is bucketing down and the ball and the surface gets slippery. Players will need to really take that into account and make sure of their touches. Cara Stahl, inside to Bicknell. Out to Etherington. Etherington forward for Edwards, who was offside. Went just slightly too early there, Siobhan Edwards. But it's a pretty good build-up from the Stingrays, who show their ability to transition quickly and purposefully. Tigers trying to take theirs. Crosses in. Cleared by the Stingrays. Johnson did well to get to it first. I apologise, that's Johnson on the ball now. Bernardi, fresh off a Team of the Week appearance for round 7. Keach for Grass. Inside. Witham wasn't quite ready. Etherington, well brought down. The pass, not so good. Tigers have it, not for long. Hooks for Giles. Now Nisbet. You saw last week and throughout the season, but that the Stingrays really like to build up slowly, are willing to be patient to wait for the right opportunity, and it's a trait they share with the Tigers. Happy to hold on to the ball at the back and until they see the right path forward. On that occasion, foul is committed. Ball's pinched by Johnson. Played wide towards Witham. Nisbet got there first. Couldn't keep the pass in. Game started with great pace so far. Is Middleton. Tries to clear it. Stingrays struggling to get it out. And here come the Tigers! It's Dominikovic early for the Northern Tigers. Captain stepping up to give them the lead here at home. Northern Tigers up 1-0 here after a well-executed press and an early cross in. Saw Dominikovic finish an easy enough tap in by her standards. Home team up early here at North Turramurra. Northern Tigers 1, Illawarra Stingrays 0. Edwards trying to use her strength to beat Murray. Murray not having too much of it. One of the strongest players on the field, you'd imagine. Edwards with the shot into the side netting. Norton's pushed all her players up long. Anna Norton. It's broken up by Thompson. Nisbet intercepts the pass. Driving forward now is Genevieve Nisbet. Wide to Hayley Bicknell. Well tackled by the Tigers, and then a bit of a throwaway. Kick away, should say, by the Stingrays to give up possession. And as I said earlier, Tigers more than happy to play it slow and take some time off the clock, particularly now that they are up in this match. Siobhan Edwards has had enough of her patience and wants to hurry up. Norton is looking for Dominikovic. Tigers have it now with Bernardi. Ball over the top for Witham. Well brought down by the youngster. Johnson now. Challenged by Hooks. Cameron, cross in. Dominikovic tries to bring it down. Shot taken. What a goal! Olivia Cartwright with a very special strike. Top bins from Olivia Cartwright here at North Turramurra. And the Tigers take an early 2-0 lead. They have started exceptionally well, the home side, and that strike will definitely be on a few highlight reels. Witham. Back for Keach. Now Cameron. Bernardi. They've got a spring in their step now, and why wouldn't you? Confidence is high from the Tigers. Emery. To Middleton. And she's tackled Johnson. Shot blocked by Giles. Now Bernardi. And she'll have a throw in out wide. Right up near the corner post. Another throw in here for the Tigers. Foul's committed. Foul throw, I should say. Keach. Spawn the Giles in the box, trying to head it away. Tigers keep coming. Cleared. Tigers were calling for a handball. Didn't seem obvious from the sideline. Now the cross comes in. Emery's called for it and does well to get there. Burton and the Tigers. I mean, they are 2 goals to the good and really dominating now. Grass. Bernardi. Wide for Johnson, who I think expected Cameron to take it. Phenomenal start by the home side. As I said, both teams heading in pretty evenly placed. Undefeated were the two of them. Just one spot separated them on the ladder. Similarly, on the club championship standings, the Northern Tigers were in 4th spot heading into this match day, 69 points, and Illawarra Stingrays 5th spot, also 69 points. It just comes down to goal difference there, and they'd still be all locked up after the reserve grade match. As things stand right now, Tigers have a 2-0 lead, relatively convincing too. Middleton rescues the wayward pass and wins the foul. Interesting news in the club championship standings this week. Both Sydney Olympic and the Newcastle Jets were deducted 15 club championship points, which is a pretty substantial penalty. No official wording, but it is believed to be off the field administration sort of issues, coaches not having the right licenses and not having the right paperwork in place sort of errors. But as I said, no official wording out yet, just the notice on the club championship standings that both the Sydney Olympic and Newcastle Jets were deducted 15 points and puts them in a really precarious position. Sydney Olympic now down to just 1 club championship point. And after their earlier 5-1 loss to the Northwest Sydney Spirit, doesn't help their cause. Jets also in second last place now on that table, and as we all know, club championship does decide who will get relegated down to the League One women's competition in 2026. Stingrays cannot retain possession. They're really struggling here. Down 2-0, and they've got a hole to climb out of here at Turramurra if they're to take points away from this game. Both teams had a draw last week. For the Tigers, they were down against the Gladesville Ravens and found a goal late and were pushing for the winner too, in what was a game that they were considered favourites to win, and many would say they probably dropped points against the Ravens. They've rebounded well and started strong here tonight. Stingrays also arguably dropped points against Bulls FC Academy. They were up 3-1 at one stage. Bulls FC got one back, and then the 94th minute scored the equaliser to make it a 3-3 final score in Northbridge last week. Ball's played forward for Middleton. Angle's too tight for her to get to it. Saffron Grass shows excellent strength with two Stingrays trying to make the tackle. It's bouncing around, brought down by Witham. And it appears the rain, which was going pretty ferociously, may have stopped here at North Turramurra, hopefully for good. Wide for Dominikovic, inside to Cartwright. Cartwright plays the ball forward, which she thought there was a runner for, and turns out not to be the case. Emery wide for Keep. And Keep will have the throw. Returns to the starting lineup tonight alongside Adelaide Thompson and Sophie Emery, who were all on the bench last week against Bulls FC Academy. Gone for Witham. One back by the Stingrays. Keep with the ball now. Looking long towards Carastal. Middleton. Forward for Bicknell. Cameron defended it well. Murray. Inside for Grass, and they're pretty defensive tonight, the Stingrays. There's not much of a press going compared to what they had last week against the Bulls. Cartwright now. Already scored one special goal tonight. She's found Grass. Now Bernardi. Looking for Burton, but the angle wasn't right. Etherington brings the long ball down well. Has Edwards. Back to Etherington. Tries desperately to keep it in, but to no avail. Cage, looking long towards Witham, who was steaming forward, but crucial header made by the Stingrays. Bicknell now. Driving Cameron, cuts inside Hayley Bicknell. Will need to do a little bit more to challenge Norton. Isabella Keach. Tries for the long ball over the top again. Nisbet got back in time for the header. Tigers still have it with him. Bernardi. Wide for Johnson. With him. Wayward pass that Keep can claim, and Murray. Strong defensively to make that interception. Pass out wide for Dominikovic. Doesn't quite reach her with Keep tracking back in defence. They'll have a free kick here, the Northern Tigers, and it's quite wide. Interesting to see whether the shot is taken or more of a cross into the box. Cartwright opted for the cross, headed away by Giles. Carristal competing with Grass. Carristal does win the foul, and she wasn't happy when it took a moment to be called. Thompson. Burton, looking over the top. Hooks heads it away. Etherington slips when she ought to be receiving the pass. Now Savannah Murray, looking for Johnson over the top. Headed inside, but there were no runners. Hooks to Nisbet. Now Bicknell. Inside for Edwards, who's dropped in. Thompson. Flick on didn't work with Murray making the interception. Burton shows her strength despite Carristal's best efforts to push her off the ball. Now Cartwright. Murray, forward for Dominikovic, tries to turn inside. The Stingrays waiting for her. Etherington, forward for Edwards. Tries to bring it down. Her and Murray clash there. Middleton with a pretty obvious foul committed there on Johnson. And Middleton's not afraid of a good foul. Last year in the competition was one of the most penalised players with 8 yellow cards across the season. Free kick's taken. It's fallen to Johnson. Turns. And that would have been special had she found a way to keep it down and on target. Cameron with the throw. Giles steps out to take it. To keep. Looking for Edwards. Murray once again. She's been good tonight. And another big tackle from Murray. Bernardi comes away with it. Here's Witham. Tigers arguing for the foul. They'll get a throw in instead. Middleton heads it with, could have been the top of her iconic bun and ribbon combo she likes to do. Nisbet forward, lands with the Tigers. Grass. Now with him. Wide for Johnson. Crossed in. And Nisbet stops the cross, gives up the corner in the process. Tigers' pressure is just relentless tonight. They've prepared well for this one. Burton will take the corner. Bo Burton swings it in. Johnson steaming in to try and meet it. Edwards all on her own. Now Carastal. Tackled well by Bernardi. And Carastal, some frustration showing there. And that yellow card is actually the first yellow card for the Stingrays all season. So they've gone 8 rounds without a card, and Carastal cops the first for the Stingrays of 2025. Coming off a really good spell of form is Alexia Carastal. Was been in countless Team of the Weeks last week once again, and was the midfielder of the month for March across the whole competition. Has also just been selected in the futsal women's national team. That strike ambitious and slightly off target, but only slightly from Johnson. Wide for Giles. Etherington. Dispossessed by Cartwright. Tries to thread the cross through. Not to be done. Edwards with it now for the Stingrays. Poor pass. Allows Gross to step forward onto the ball. And Saffron Gross unleashes. 3-0. The Tigers are now up with Saffron Grass. Not her finest strike, but nonetheless, great power and caught a skid off the wet ground, and was too much for Sophie Emery to contain. Northern Tigers, 3-0 up here at North Tarmara, and they are putting on a show. Stingrays have no answer for them at this stage. It'd have to be a monumental halftime talk to turn this one around, and for Stephen Gordon, he'd have to be coming up with an all-time great halftime speech. Middleton to Thompson. Now Bicknell. Back to Middleton. Defense for the Tigers is just not letting up. Emery, good ball forward for Nisbet. Nisbet over the top. It's the kind of style Edwards likes to play. She likes to run onto a ball through, but Tigers just seem prepared for all the Stingrays' tricks as an excellent ball is played forward for Burton. Slips as she makes the cross and probably hits it a bit deeper than she likes. Emery can come out to claim. Giles to Nisbet. Turns and finds the pass to Bicknell. Bicknell, excellent turn. Finds the ball towards Etherington. Advantage hadn't lapsed and it's brought back for the foul on Bicknell. Giles, long, towards Caristyle. Grass beats her to the jump. Now Middleton. Wide for Layla Etherington. And Cartwright's pressure forces a poor pass. Johnson is tackled by Keep. Back to Thompson, and that strike dropped a bit too early into the arms of Norton. Punted long. Off the head of Giles. Wide, and Keep will get to it first. It'll be Cartwright taking the throw, and impressively she scored the best of the 3 goals tonight, and Cartwright's probably playing out of position here tonight, normally in the midfield. Slotted in as a left back, and is really stepping up to the plate and playing that excellently. Etherington, who had a pretty red hot start to the year, a few goals to her name, has not been involved thanks to Cartwright's excellent ability to contain her tonight. Towards Middleton, Cartwright, as I've just praised her, doesn't slip to the commentator's curse and does make the header. Now Dominikovic taking on Hooks. Hooks wins out. Perhaps it was the earlier rain, but when your team's up 3-0 at home, you'd expect probably a little bit more atmosphere here at North Turramurra. It's pretty silent. Perhaps the crowd is shocked by the scoreline here in what was probably expected to be a close one, considering their form coming into this. Both teams were undefeated, and just one place separated them on ladder position. Cartwright takes the throw. Johnson only gets half of the ball on that strike and doesn't unleash the power that she is fully capable of. Bicknell on the ball now. Pass Grass to Edwards. Siobhan Edwards finds Middleton out wide. Back to Edwards. Edwards. Past Cameron. The cross. Straightens the lap of Keach. Cleared initially by the Tigers. Falls to the Stingrays. Nisbet has it out wide to Bicknell. Bicknell turns past Cameron. Cross comes in to Edwards. Keach is there to put pressure. Edwards over the bar. Stingrays yet to find a truly threatening shot in the game. They've had a few on target, but not to the standard that they'd test Anna Norton in goal. As Norton goes long with the goal kick. Headers won by Hooks. Middleton with the follow-up. Keach clears it. In what was a crucial touch, because otherwise Siobhan Edwards was steaming onto the ball. As Bicknell. Big tackle from Bernardi. And Cameron makes the clearance. Probably had more time than she thought there, Maya Cameron, but can't be too long to go in this first half. Clock is unfortunately not working tonight at North Turramurra as Nisbet gets the cross in. Etherington jumps up, doesn't meet the ball though. And Layla Etherington tries to turn inside where Saffron Grass was waiting to make the tackle. It is a Stingrays throw-in, taking their time to get it back in. To Etherington. Tigers have it. Back with the Stingrays. Edwards. He's turning and facing forward. Cartwright gets back to make the important defensive stop. Throw in to Caristal. Trying to turn to face forward. Can't do so. Finds Middleton instead, who can. But she's tackled by Bernardi, who's been excellent both in attack and defence tonight. It's a real team effort by the Tigers. It'd be tough to pick a star. They've all been excellent in this first half. Edwards looking inside for Etherington. It's just one of those nights for the Stingrays where not much is going right. Keach looking to loft a ball over the top. Nisbet gets back in time, and she has done so on most occasions tonight, Genevieve Nisbet. Makes the tackle there. Again does Nisbet. Stingrays will have the throw. There is a player down. I apologise. It is right behind the bench and I cannot make out who. It was Maya Cameron, who's back up on her feet in good news. Looks to be more than fine to continue. Lexia Caristal's letting the referee know something, and she's got to be careful. Already picked up a yellow card tonight. Has Caristal. Attempted clearance is an air swing. With him, ran offside. Played on, advantage to the Stingrays. And there is halftime at North Turramurra Recreation Area. A commanding first half by the home side. Northern Tigers up 3-0 with goals to Nicola Dominikovic, Olivia Cartwright and Saffron Grass. It'll take a lot for the Stingrays to get back in this one because they've really been played off the park in that first half. Stephen Gordon up for a halftime talk that could be very special and turn things around. Or not, we shall wait and see. Make sure you tune in to the second half here at North Turramurra between the Northern Tigers and the Illawarra Stingrays. Welcome back for the second half here at North Turramurra Recreation Area. The Stingrays will get us off, and they've got a big hill to climb, down 3-0 against the Northern Tigers. I'm Annabelle Bamfield, and excited for this one. Hopefully the rain stays off. We've had a very wet spell in the first half, and it's gone back to dry here at Turramurra as Etherington is taken out early on the edge of the box. Free kick will be given, and the yellow card is also given to Savannah Murray. It'll be Caristal behind the ball. Scored an excellent goal last week from about 40 metres out. Can she get on the scoreboard and kickstart the comeback here for the Stingrays? Cross is taken. And it is Hooks, I believe, meeting it. Poppy Hooks gets the comeback started. 3-1 here at North Turramurra. And what a way to start the second half. I said Stephen Gordon needed a big halftime talk. That could be the fruits of that talk there. Inside 30 seconds, and they've got one back. 2 more to get level. Tigers, no doubt, want to extend their lead. Here's Burton. Touch too heavy.
Come on, Tiger!
Head into the area. They'll have another throw in from the same spot, the Tigers. In this game, you thought it might be a foregone conclusion, down 3-0 at half-time, but the Stingrays aren't out of it. They're bringing the excitement back to North Turramurra tonight. Without some key players tonight, that said Caitlin Cooper's out, no injury for her, just a holiday. Kiara Shea, on the other hand, fractured her hip. This will be out for the foreseeable future, and with Brie Edwards returning, you'd have to imagine that Kiara Shea is one of the unluckiest goalkeepers, because she'd been the goalkeeper of the month for March in her new club here at Illawarra, and now she's fractured her hip just at the wrong time, and she'll give up the starting spot to Brie Edwards, you'd imagine. It'll be Edwards who takes over from Emery next week, and it'll be tough for Shea to fight her way back in. Last year she spent the season playing reserve grade for the MacArthur Rams, because they also had an excellent first choice keeper, and it's tough because she's clearly incredible, and at most clubs she's definitely the starter, but it's tough to compete with the A-League women's players like Edwards and last year Teresa Morrissey. As the Tigers have the throw here from Cartwright. Rain getting back here at Turramurra. Started off softly. Hopefully it doesn't get as heavy as it did. Dominicovic, wide for Witham. Isla Witham restores the 3-goal buffer here at North Turramurra. Excellent goal from the youngster. Isla Witham, homegrown talent here from the Northern Tigers, and special goal in a big moment. Will that deflate the Stingray side as they attempt to come back? Stingrays with the kickoff. Caristal driving forward. Looks for Etherington. It's intercepted. Caristal. Norton into her arms. Safe as houses. Hooks. Let's come back to Hooks. Now for Caristel. Etherington. Cartwright's been up to the challenge all night. I do apologise for not noticing earlier, but Kayla Austin was subbed on at halftime in place of Genevieve Nisbet, and Stingrays have resorted to 3 at the back, so they're trying to get back in this game and playing riskily defensively to do so. And I mean, you can see that it's worked and not worked, with already scoring and conceding a goal in this first half. Could be up for a few goals this half, as we've got a head clash and physios are on the field. It's Nikola Dominikovic down for the Tigers, and the Stingrays, I believe it's Ella Giles who's getting treated. As I said, the substitute, Kayla Austin, coming on. She let me know pre-game about Kiara Shea's injury and had a special message for the injured goalkeeper, that she's, too soft and needs to toughen up. I think, personally, with a fractured hip and seeing the incident happen last week against the Bulls, Kayla might be being a little bit harsh on Kiara there, but nonetheless, that was the message. Stephen Gordon, Stingrays coach, is taking this time to give a message of his own to his players. Still 3 goals behind after Witham's strike. And both players still yet to return to their feet after the head clash, and it is important to take head injuries very seriously. All the research suggests that they're dangerous, so important that this does happen carefully. Rain is still coming down here at North Taramara, but will be a lot softer than we experienced it in the first half. And I'll take this as Nikola Dominikovic and Giles back up on their feet. I'll take this time to mention the young Northern Tigers star Jada Taylor, who's found her way into the Junior Matildas squad. She's not in the lineup tonight. Mainly plays with the under-23 side, but so many stars across the league have been picked up in the latest Junior Matildas squad, with Claire Corbett, Abby Puckett, Liana Luong, Matilda Diaz and Lana Elcordi, all from the Macarthur Rams. Tessa Young and Annabelle Kroll from the Western Sydney Wanderers. Harper Pell, Michaela Gavranich and Ruby Sullivan, who will be returning to the Northwest Sydney Spirit. As I said, Jada Taylor here from the Northern Tigers, Zoe Panagopoulos from Arpia, Lacey Dobson and Mackenzie Preston Poole from the Newcastle Jets. So a stacked Football New South Wales contingent into the young Matildas. And Ella Giles has been strapped up and substituted. As Bernardi, Hooks did just enough. Otherwise Bernardi was off to goal there. Comes in. Johnson. Nikola Dominikovic also substituted for the Northern Tigers after her head clash, and up 3 goals you probably would. Johnson doesn't quite drop in time. So Charlotte Mortlock comes into the action for the Tigers. As for the Stingrays, it's Kate McPherson who enters the action to replace Ella Giles, and they are persisting with the change formation. 3 at the back, a front 4 it seems to be for the Stingrays. Etherington back to Keep. Now Thompson struggled to control the pass and was a tough one. Burton. Emery makes the save. Opts to go long towards Austin. Bounces over her head. Keach sends it back where it came from. And McPherson returns the favour. It'll be a Stingrays throw just over halfway. Edwards gets to it first. He's trying to turn. Can't do so. Cameron wins it with him. Tries to feed Johnson through. Hooks was on top of it. Middleton copping a lot of pressure in the back from Witham. Wins the free kick. Taken by Hooks. Wide to Bicknell. Now Austin. Kayla Austin forward for Siobhan Edwards. Showing her turn of pace. Cross comes in. Can't be steered goalward by Etherington. Cartwright with the throw. Johnson. Tackle by Middleton. Foul is given. Tackle did leave. Johnson stumbling around. Savannah Murray. Long. For Charlotte Mortlock. Cuts inside. Mortlock. Shot straight into Poppy Hooks. Mortlock wins the corner. Taken short. Back to Cartwright. In towards the back post. Emery with the punch. Grass sends it back in. Keep clears. Only throws the edge of the box. Brought down to Cage. Pulled just wide. And no doubt the celebrations would have erupted once again if Cage buried that in the back of the net. Taken short quickly to Hooks. Everyone's rushing long. That's where Hooks goes. Towards Bicknell. Cameron initially read it well. Bicknell picked up on the touch. But now it's Bernardi steaming forward for the Tigers. It's fallen to Bernardi. Off the post, off the back of Emery. Now Johnson. Still Johnson. It's come out to Grass. Saffron Grass has Burton wide, and the pass wasn't on target. Poppy Hooks is down, clutching an ankle. Back up on her feet. She's good. She's sending the physio away. And that would be a big loss, especially after Giles, the other starting centre-back has already been substituted. Poppy Hooks is essential to any chances, albeit very slim, that the Stingrays have to get a result here tonight. Grass. Johnson. Burton now. To Bernardi. Burton. Advantage is played on. Caristal has to be careful. Already on a yellow. Now Beth Bernardi. Wide for Witham. Flag is down. Cross comes in. And it's played on. It did appear to go over the line after Emery's poor save, but nonetheless, the referee plays it on. Here come the Tigers again. Cross to Mortlock, brought down. Charlotte Mortlock. Tackles made by Emery. There's some uproar on the sideline after that call that it didn't cross the line. Have to admit, from my vantage point, probably would have given that one a goal. They are still up 3 goals here, the Tigers, so they're in a good position. The corner taken by Cartwright. It's curling. And Johnson. Emery with the feet save. And Hooks. Goal line clearance. That was an exciting patch of play, and the Stingrays hold the 5th goal off for now. They'll have another try from the corner flag. Olivia Cartwright towards the back post. It's off the head of Witham. Goes over the bar. I doubt there'll be much of a pressure release, though, from the Tigers, who've been excellent all night. Emery's pushing everyone up and left. Witham gets to the goal kick first. It's come to Mortlock. Burton. Tackled by Middleton. Cartwright slams it into our referee, Nina Cortese. Surprised she's still got her breath. After Cartwright's earlier strike in the first half to score the goal, that wasn't what she was after there. They keep the ball, though, with the drop ball. Norton going long, Hooks with the header. She pushed Johnson down beforehand, so free kick is paid to the Tigers. Bernardi wanted to play it quickly, but was off the mark. Here's Mortlock. She's been kicked previously this game. Caristal made the tackle. Just be careful flying in like that, though. As I said, on a yellow card and showing no signs of dropping the aggression. Johnson now for the Tigers. Mortlock attempts to square it to Burton. Thompson in with the inception. Caristal over the top. Austin chasing after it. Kayla Austin squares it for Edwards. Can't keep the shot down. End-to-end affair right now, albeit more so at the Tigers scoring end, but Stingrays found a way out there and they make another substitution here. Helena Halios-Lewis will enter the action in place of Adelaide Thompson. Previously played in the under-23s matchup that preceded this game, and from what I saw and by all accounts played excellently. So can Helena Halios-Lewis spark a couple more goals in the comeback that the Stingrays would need? Caristal, tackled by Grass. All the way back to Emery. Emery's been told to go long. Out of her hands. Cartwright heads it out. Throw's taken quickly by Etherington. She'll have another one. Giles with her bandaged head is heading off to the car park, getting an early drive back to the Illawarra. Murray. Forward to Johnson. Now Grass over the top. Mortlock chasing after it. Keep gets there first. Mortlock with the tackle. To Johnson. 1-2 with Mortlock. That looked slick. Here comes Charlotte Mortlock. Crossed in. Cleared by Kate McPherson. Only as far as Hayley Johnson. Back to Cartwright. Here's Hooks. Here's Hooks driving forward out of centre back. Hooks trying to get it done herself. Plays the through ball. Cameron got there first. And this second half, despite being 3 goals down, the Stingrays are going for it, and the intensity has not dropped. Here's Burton. Has a great turn of pace. Finds Mortlock. Stuck in the corner. Can she find a way out with Middleton applying pressure? Goes to Johnson. Slightly off with the pass. Caristel straight into Saffron Grass, who's had her number so far tonight. To Hayley Johnson! And I said the 5th goal was coming, and pretty special way to bring up the 5 goals for the Northern Tigers. Hayley Johnson with an absolute peach curled into the top right corner. And the Tigers now up 5-1 over the Illawarra Stingrays, who heading into this game were undefeated, and this is quite the defeat that it's shaping up to be. They've given it up cheaply here, the Stingrays. Burton. Has Bernardi. Back to Burton. Tries to go back to Bernardi. Does so, but slows down the progress a little bit. Beth Bernardi into the arms of Sophie Emery. With him, chasing after it. She's got McPherson, who gets to the ball first.
Lady Glitter Sparkle.
Ball's gone over the fence, so just back onto the field of play now. Throne's taken by the Tigers. Cleared by McPherson for the Stingrays. There's Edwards. Forward for Austin. Austin back into Edwards. Tackled by Bernardi. Now Bicknell. Edwards. Big save, Anna Norton. 1-on-1 with Siobhan Edwards and pulls that off to tip it over the bar. Tigers have just stepped up all over the park tonight. It'd be very tough to pick a player of the match when everyone's done their role. Caristel with the corner. Gone through everyone. Middleton chasing out to keep it in. Cross comes back in. Headed away by Johnson. Fallen to Witham. Now Murray. Tackled by Middleton. Murray makes up for the error. Off the head of Witham. To Mortlock. Murray over the top. No, Tigers are chasing. I take that back. They picked up speed. Headed away by Hooks. To Halios Lewis. Tigers have it back. Burton to Johnson. And that is a clear foul. And Alexia Carastal, that is her second yellow. And there is the red card for Alexia Carastal. Big news. She won't be in action next week for their round 9 fixture. The Stingrays, who have the MacArthur Rams next week at home, and they will have no Alexia Carastal for that matchup. And if you thought the Tigers were dominating now, they are up against 10 Stingrays, and could be a real onslaught to finish out this game. It's Murray behind the ball. Just inches off being a penalty, but she has a good opportunity here, Murray, to put her name on the score sheet and give the Tigers 6 goals here tonight at Turramurra. Savannah Murray hits the crossbar. Still in the box, yet to be cleared. Austin heads it out, only as far as Bernardi. Lays it back to Murray. McPherson blocks the shot. And it will be a Tigers throw-in from their right-hand side. Maya Cameron heading out to take it, and that was a good effort from Murray. Throw's taken. Bernardi's chasing after it. McPherson clears it high, not far. Mortlock. Emery comes out well. Etherington heads the ball backwards to a Tiger. Hooks sends it out round the halfway line. Tigers preparing some substitutes, and why wouldn't you when you're up 4 goals and playing against 10? Rest some of your starters and give some younger players an opportunity to get good minutes. Scrape the back of Johnson's head. And Keep sends it into Mortlock from close range. Does well to stay up on her feet. Keep Mortlock. Pressing well. Hooks driving forward. Looking long towards Edwards. Murray read it well. Cartwright. Great ball forward towards Witham. McPherson gets there just in time. Substitute will be made here for the Northern Tigers. Katia Clement coming on for Savannah Murray. And looks like Olivia Cartwright stepped into centre back, who stretching her even further out of position tonight, but she's certainly been up to it as a left back, normally plays as a midfielder. It'll be Clement in the midfield, and Tigers going for 3 at the back and pushing harder for more goals. Which, considering only 4 teams do make it to the semi-finals at the end of the full home and away season, you take all the goal difference you can. It certainly gives you players some confidence moving forward through the season. Great run from Burton. Johnson finds her. Burton! Big save from Emery. She's down inside the goal. Struggling to get back up is Sophie Emery. They had a very similar injury last week to Kiara Shea when she was attempting to make a save in the goal. Didn't actually make the save though, but ran into that metal base. Emery's up, but she's stumbling around. Stingrays making some substitutions. Poppy Hooks heading off. Wasn't quite up at 100% after an earlier knock. Also, Layla Etherington will exit the field, so perhaps Stephen Gordon can see that the damage is done tonight and there's no point pushing players when they could be resting and getting ready for next week. As for entering the field, you've got Annabella Pinkard and Tara Cannon coming on. Kate McPherson playing as the centre back now, as sweeping role. Cameron, tackled by Kayla Austin. Now Bicknell, forward towards Edwards. Well shepherded by Cartwright at the back, and Norton makes the save. Ball's gone forward towards Witham. Witham makes the tackle. Isla Witham attempts to get the cross in. Initial cross is blocked. It will be a goal kick. Witham not impressed with the call. Taken quickly by Emery to McPherson. Long towards Cannon. Tigers bring it back. Johnson. Isla Witham. Trying to cut inside. Defended well on that occasion. Here's Clements driving forward. Katia Clement for Witham. Stingrays wanted the offside call. Flag stays down. Isla Witham. Initial save is made, and Burton just out of reach of the tap in. Mortlock. Sizing up Pinkard. Mortlock. Save was made. Cross. Puts the ball away. Cannon. And Keach clears it for a throw in. Still up 5-1, and the work rate has not dropped from the Tigers. They don't want to let any more goals in, and quite like to put a few more in the other net, you'd imagine. They're looking to make a statement across the league with this win, breaking Illawarra's undefeated record. Here's Siobhan Edwards, Katia Clement. Bernardi makes the tackle. Now with Burton. Long, but Johnson wasn't running. Would have been quite a nice ball, you'd imagine, if the striker was on the same page. Isla Witham heads off for the game, scored the fourth of the Tigers' goals. And it's Jade McAtamney entering the action. She knows how to score a goal, especially from a set piece, Jade McTamney. Here is Jade McTamney. Good ball. Cross to Mortlock. Cartwright steaming forward. Mortlock. Emery. Initial slip and quick recovery. Makes the save. Emery's been under the pump tonight and has made a few good saves despite the scoreline perhaps suggesting otherwise. Down 5-1 are the Illawarra Stingrays. The Tigers have just played them off the park in every aspect, it seems. No. They're giving it their all here, the Tigers. As are the Stingrays, despite being down. And as I said, despite being up 5-1, there's no shortness of competitiveness. Coach Finn Geharty's not happy with the challenge that Edwards just made. He reckons he's looking out for the welfare of his players, and that challenge was dangerous and then could have caused an injury there. Here come the Tigers once again. Cartwright trips over the ball. Still has it to Mortlock now. Ball forward for Johnson. It's a foot race between her and Emery. Johnson gets there first. Perhaps because she was offside though. McPherson goes long. It's now with Edwards. Burton wins it back for the Tigers. Wide to Clement. Ball's gone forward. McTamney's chasing after it. McTamney may get to it. She forces. Keep to play it wide and they have the throw. Good effort. Chase from McTamney. Burton keeps it despite the initial pressure and then loses out when Bicknell makes the tackle. Edwards, ball forward. Austin. I apologise. It's Helios Lewis on the ball. Back to Edwards. Trying to cut inside and fashion a shot. Edwards is tackled. Touch goes into McTamney's face, but has no one to blame except herself. Here's Helios Lewis. Cuts back. Finds Edwards, who is tackled. Here's Hayley Johnson. Wide for Jade McTamney. Ball forward. Middleton. Stops it reaching Mortlock. Finds Cannon wide. Now to Bicknell. Back for Middleton. It's forced back with Mortlock's pressure. Started getting a couple of lightning strikes here at North Turramurra Recreation Area. No rain or thunder to accompany it. Hayley Johnson chasing after the long ball, and you can forgive her for slightly half-hearted effort when she's run all night. Grass with the header. Flicked on by Burton. Now with Johnson. Great flick on for Burton and slowed her run. I think she knew the ball came a bit too late and she'd be called offside. Cannon. Strong tackle made, and Tigers getting behind their players in, as I've already said, a real statement performance tonight that just keeps continuing. Cartwright to Mortlock. Johnson now. Burton screaming for it in the middle. Can Mortlock find her? Pressure's coming from Middleton. Back to Johnson, who overran the pass. Johnson with the header. Back to Middleton. Mortlock scoops it up off her touch. And Middleton, that's an aggressive challenge. And yeah, worthy of a yellow card there. That was uncalled for from Middleton. Really didn't need that given the context of the game and perhaps some frustration coming out for Chloe Middleton. I did say she was a set-piece expert. It's Jade McTamney behind the ball. Chips it in. Off the head of Burton, and there was no follow-up run. Played wide to Keep. She passed it straight to Clement, and so here come the Tigers. Johnson squaring it. In the end, squares it to Middleton, but here they come again. Clement with the cross off the back of McPherson. Johnson, that's a cross that'll reach the box. Although Stingray got to it. And here's Liv Cartwright. Can she fashion something special? Not quite what she did in the first half. It would have been tough to recreate it because that was special, and it's already up on the Football New South Wales. I apologise, the NPL New South Wales official Instagram and Facebook pages, and deservedly so. It was a special strike. Here's Mortlock. She has McTamney wide. Uses her, and probably shouldn't have because McTamney was offside. McPherson to take it. Grass gets to it. Here's Mortlock. Has McTamney, who was onside for this time. Cross comes in. Can't quite reach Johnson at the back post. It's headed away by Keep. Saffron Grass back in. Burton to Johnson. Hayley Johnson. Big save from Emery. Funnily enough, there's already been one 5-1 scoreline in the competition today. Northwest Sydney Spirit beating Sydney Olympic at home. Will this one remain the same scoreline, or will it change? And if it does change, you'd imagine it would change the way of the Tigers. Here's Bo Burton. Emery up to the challenge. Diverse list of goal scorers here tonight as well. Each a unique goal scorer. We've got 5 between Dominikovic, Cartwright, Grass, Witham, and the final one was for Johnson. I say final, but there could be more to come. Time still going here in the matchup between the Northern Tigers and Illawarra Stingrays. cleared by McPherson, and believe it or not, this actually isn't the Tigers' best scoreline this season. They've had a 6-1 win 2 weeks ago against the MacArthur Rams, where they also had 5 goal scorers, so they know how to win big, do the Tigers, and step up in the big games. Smashing, as I said, previously undefeated Illawarra Stingrays. They've had a draw against top of the table Manly United, who are also undefeated, but then they're a little bit inconsistent. They've dropped points. They are still undefeated, so that's credit to them and an impressive feat 8 rounds in, but they've dropped points against teams you'd expect them to pick up the win against, like Gladesville Ravens last week and Sydney University, so I think as Bernardi looks forward, it's fallen to Burton. I think the Tigers just need to make sure that they pick up 3 points in every match that they deserve to this season, because last year they were oh so close to making the finals, and this year you'd imagine success would look like finishing in the top 4 for the Tigers. Stingrays with some good field positioning. Can they make something happen and create something to work with heading back into well, you'd imagine would be a tough week of training for the Stingrays as they look to turn this one around. It's an unexpected, pretty dramatic fall from grace to lose your undefeated title in a 5-1 thumping. Corners taken, and that sums up the night there for the Illawarra Stingrays. Straight out, no challenge at all. Next week, as I already said, they're up against the MacArthur Rams, who been a little bit unpredictable this season. Stingrays would fancy themselves in that matchup, but after tonight, I think it proves that anything's possible, and certainly that the Stingrays are beatable. On the other hand, Northern Tigers face off against the Mount Druitt Town Rangers, who, depending on how their match goes tomorrow against the Western Sydney Wanderers in the match of the round, I apologise, against the MacArthur Rams in the match of the round, then Tigers may well have another undefeated clash next week against newly promoted Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Burton just mistimed the run. Gives the Tigers a great boost of confidence heading into another huge clash next week against the Mount Druitt Town Rangers, who are really in some fine form, and it's tough to score against the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Last week against Sydney University, they got the win, and it was the goal that the Rangers conceded was just their first across the season from open play, and 7 rounds in, that is a special statistic, so it would take a big effort from the Northern Tigers next week, but they've proved they're capable of it here tonight, as Austin's on the ball and plays back to keep. And Stingrays have limited energy now. Not long to go, and they're hoping the whistle goes soon, you'd imagine. Grass sends it forward. Johnson's chasing. Middleton gets there first, and there is the final whistle here at North Turramurra Recreation Area. A massive win for the home side. The Northern Tigers, 5-1 winners over the Illawarra Stingrays with goals too. Bear with me, there are 5 of them. We've got Nicola Dominikovic, Olivia Cartwright, Saffron Grass, Isla Witham, and Hayley Johnson for the home side, and the 1 Illawarra Stingrays goal coming from Poppy Hooks. So, massive confidence-building win for the Northern Tigers, and For the Stingrays, it's back to the drawing board. They'll come back firing next week. Return of Bree Edwards into the side, and they will be without Alexia Caristal after her red card earlier in the match. So I'm Annabelle Banfield, and thanks for tuning in. It was certainly an exciting game for those who stuck around.